So I've been trying to figure out how to start this video. It's not gone very well, so I figured it'd probably just be best to jump right into it. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Star Wars on High. Thank you for stopping by. We're back with a rough one. As we all learned earlier this week, The Acolyte was canceled after its first season, and a big amount of fans are really upset about it, and there's a big amount of fans that are celebrating ridiculously over it. I'm not really here to talk about, the people that liked it, the people that hate it. I just wanted to talk about what The Acolyte meant to me. But real quick, I know there is those that say that the review bombing had something to do with The Acolyte getting canceled, as well as people are saying that it was some of the bigger YouTube channels that have a larger following that, were constantly going after it and saying hateful things. That's not the case. That's not how that works. To my understanding and to what I'm going to choose to believe in truly is that the show was canceled because of viewership purposes. And I've seen several charts that people have been throwing around that, from the premiere to the finale, it was just kind of going downhill. And, I believe that that was probably the case. I'm sure there was a lot of people that hated the show and just stopped watching it, as people were very vocal about it online. But to me, The Acolyte was more than what they consider to be woke propaganda, which I will never understand. When Project Luminous was first announced, and then we realized we were going to get a big multimedia story set in what was known as the High Republic, I was over the moon. I was ecstatic. I was very excited about this. This was going to be a project that took place with a brand new story, brand new characters in a time period that was previously unexplored. Even in Legends, we had the Darth Bane trilogy, and then we had a 1,000-year gap. So, being able to fill in that one area that no one really talked about, that was exciting to me. And I was really looking forward to seeing, what the galaxy looked like during this time, those characters, their struggles, who the villain was for starters. And then, come 2020, we get the announcement of The Acolyte, and I was so excited. Something set during the final days of the High Republic, the era that I've wanted to see on screen since I started reading the books. It was really exciting. And, I waited 4 years for that to finally hit Disney+. I got home from work, I had dinner, I sat down, I watched it, and it was the best thing ever. I was so excited. Every time I got to come home and be like, all right, we got an episode of The Acolyte to get through. Let's do this. Those were 8 episodes of what I consider to be a fantastic series. It had a great story, great characters. It drew me in all the time. And it was very suspenseful. I think they did a great job of taking this story and stretching it out over 8 episodes to make you wanting more at the end of every episode. There are so many moments where we have really great storytelling within the show, and it just stretches on out. You're not going to get all the answers to one episode. In that one episode, we have to keep watching to see what happens. And I really think that it played off really well. The entire time I thought it was just going to be about May being the Acolyte, and then I started to suspect, okay, maybe it's not her, but I was not expecting the switch between Osha and May. I definitely was not expecting Manny's character, Chimera, to become the actual Acolyte in question. So it's really cool to see how it played out, and I wanted to see it go further, especially since we have that awesome cameo from Darth Plagueis that we see very briefly in the beginning of the finale there. But Dev was just going to be leading on into something that was amazing. But the show meant so much more to other people, and that was one of the things that I enjoyed as well. Being realistic here, I'm a white guy, okay? I've had plenty of representation in Star Wars. That was never a problem for me. So getting to see other people celebrate because they see themselves in Star Wars in more than just a minor role, I think that's fantastic. And it was bringing in a whole new crew of people that have never really seen Star Wars and never gave it a chance, just because, they were able to see themselves on the screen, or it was just a brand new story that they could just jump right into. You don't really need to watch anything else to understand The Acolyte. You could go right into that, and I think that would be a fun starting point, truly. And to see these people now devastated, you bring in this new crowd of fans. They're like, oh, this Acolyte show is really great. I've seen this a lot between, people with parents that are watching it for the first time, or people that are watching it just because they are now represented on screen. And then you take it away from them by canceling it. It sucks. It just sucks. I mean, I wanted to see what would happen next, I started theorizing that after the end of the finale, I think that we were going to start getting, a new Darth Plagueis story, not to get rid of the one from Legends that everyone loves, I understand, But like, I wanted to see that. I wanted to see how Chimere broke away from Vernestra and was twisted by the dark side and then was taken under Plagueis' wing. I wanted to see how that would play out. And then moving through season 2, I wanted to see more involvement with Plagueis and what he thinks of the situation between Chimere and Osha. Like, I think that that was going to be some stellar storytelling. But I mean, as a result, I'm not going to keep quiet about it. This is a story that I want to continue. This is a story that others want to continue. So I'm going to continue to keep using the hashtags that I've been using on Twitter for the past 3 days. Hashtag SaveTheAcolyte, hashtag RenewTheAcolyte. I want the show to continue, and I'm going to do everything in my power to see that it hopefully happens. I mean, I know there's a lot of you, there have been people at work that have come up to me asking, you know, how can I, you know, help with this cause? I know it's kind of hard to really do, but I do have a link to a petition that people are signing. I did not make this petition, but I've been passing it around, so that's going to be down in the comment section. And there's also something else you can do. You can just log into your Disney Plus account and go to provide feedback, and you can ask, you know, to request a new movie or show, and you can request The Acolyte Season 2. I've had a few people do that as well. I know you can do daily submissions for that. I don't know necessarily how helpful that will be, especially if they're just going to see it's all coming from one spot. But regardless, if you can, please go ahead, provide their feedback, say that you want to see The Acolyte Season 2, and let's hopefully continue this story. I mean, you know, Mandela Stenberg and Manny Jacinto, they deserve this. They deserve to continue that story. They brought so much to the screen, and I don't want to see it thrown away. I'm just really praying that they're not going to try to pull a Willow and then remove this from Disney Plus as well. So I'm going to stay hopeful that we can, you know, manage to get enough fans to say something about it to the point where they decide to renew it for a season 2. If it was a budget issue, give it a lower budget. I don't care. I just want to see the story continue. We have all of these stories that are set to come out now. We've got 2 books that were announced that were going to be tie-ins with The Acolyte. You know, I want to see those stories continue. I don't want this to be the end of what could be a very great era in Star Wars. I don't want to see that happen. And I know a lot of you don't either. And I understand that this video will eventually be found by the hateful crowd, and that's fine. Thank you for the views. My paycheck will thank you later. And believe me, I wish I was a paid Disney show. I'm sure those paychecks look marvelous. I have not seen a penny from it. So, you know, let's make that happen while we're at it. But ultimately, I'm just going to hope that, you know, the story can continue. I'll do whatever I can to make it happen, no matter how many times I have to tweet about it. But that's just what I want to see happen. So let me know your thoughts down below. I'm sure a lot of you are going to say that you're happy it's canceled, and, you know, that's I understand that. If it wasn't for you, it wasn't for you. But I don't think that should take away from the fact that there were people that were really looking forward to another season, and now it looks like it may not happen. So yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you to everyone who stuck around to this point in the video, and we hope to see you again very soon.